My name is Nate Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO of GLCS, and this is the Driving Forward podcast. Thank you for watching. We're finally launching. It's been a long journey. We've recently hired a podcast manager that's going to help us with engagement. Many of you know her. Her name's Sheree Moore. She's been in the industry for a long time, was a driver for many years, and she's the founder of She Trucking. So we're really happy to be working with Sheree. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out and be a guest on the podcast, if you have a great story and have been in transportation for a long time, if you've got a solution in logistics and want to reach out to us to talk about that, reach out to Sheree. Her email address is smoore, SMOORE, @glcs.net. We were just at Freightwaves F3, the Future of Freight Festival. We spent a week there networking, looking at new technologies, and talking with a lot of people. My kind of two primary reasons I attended this year, actually really three. First and foremost, I was looking to see what and how GLCS should attend the event going forward. But beyond that, I was wanting to see the rapid fire demos, understand the technologies that were presenting themselves at the festival and how they can impact our customers. And then also network with everyone. And I do have this passion I wanted to bring forward with the podcast. It's been a long journey. We have some guests lined up, and we were going to do this as a once a month thing. We're going to be actually taking it to a once a week podcast here shortly. So really excited about that. So everything kind of is moving forward quickly. And F3 was sort of the launch of how this is going to take off. One of the greatest takeaways from F3 was, there's a lot of drivers there this year. I think they said 20, 25, maybe even 30 drivers. We networked with a lot of them. We spoke with, I got to develop a great relationship with Alex, my mother trucker. Him and I spent quite a bit of time speaking together and just chatting about life, and that was great. But yeah, lots of great people, lots of drivers that got to understand the technology side, the corporate side of the industry, and sort of bridge that gap, which I thank Freightwaves for opening that door. I hope they do a little bit more of that next year and open it a little wider. So I think foundations and a larger footprint to the drivers would be really nice. I think we saw some positive things there this year and some energy that maybe hasn't been there in the past. So with that being said, this particular episode is probably not going to run real long, but I do want to talk about a few other things that happened in the last few days at F3. The top 10 freight tech solutions, ChargePoint coming in at number 10, FedEx at number 9, Blue Yonder at 8, Highway, great solution at number 7. They're kind of taking the world by storm, combating double brokerage and fraud. Just a absolute great solution. 6, a well-established company. Obviously, FedEx and Blue Yonder have been around a long time, but Breakthrough has been around a very long time as well. Number 5, some of my favorite people, or actually my favorite people on the list, is greenscreens.ai. A pretty youthful company, but just a great group of people, and we love them. But greenscreens.ai at number 5, BestPass at number 4, Logic at number 3, Plus at number 2, and Amazon Freight bringing in number 1. This year's top 10 was great. It's definitely not the lists that we've seen in the past, and it's actually kind of refreshing to see that really even the top 100 has changed a lot. And I think we'll probably see this list change again next year too. There's a lot of adjustments in the world of freight technology or logistics technology, and we see a lot of people trying to solve different problems. So some of those problems are real identified by brokers and carriers. Some of those problems, I think, solutions are sort of trying to challenge the issue themselves without doing true market research. So we'll see if they're real successful with that. Throughout the rapid fire demos, those we saw a lot of solutions that were processing paperwork and processing payments and those type of things. Those solutions have been around for a while. They are great, and they help reduce manual labor. Some of the rapid fire demos that I'm going to call out here in a few minutes are ones that I thought were exceptional and sort of moved the bar in a direction away from the norm. So above and beyond that, anyone that gets up there and does a 7-minute demo in front of everybody, kind of puts their company out and says, hey, we want to be challenged and look out there. Kudos to you. It's hard to do that. It's hard to say, I want you to evaluate my company in a 7-minute demo. Above and beyond that, everyone challenges you and says, are you creating a solution, or are you creating that demo in a 7-minute period? Is that smoke and mirrors? Does that actually scale? Are you doing something that's just predefined, and are you just trying to do it for a marketing effort? And, in some cases, someone may do that. So my review of every rapid fire demo is purely of the rapid fire demo. It's not of someone's solution or anything like that. From this rapid fire demo, I reach out to every company and I ask them to do a deeper dive into that demo and start to learn about the solution. But these are my opinions from the solution itself, or from the demo itself. And as I get more detail on it, I'll relay that out, typically through a blog of some kind, but or through a future podcast. But as of right now, this is kind of the raw details from that, from those the rapid fire demos themselves. So they're kind of in order. They're not in any order themselves as far as priority or how I thought they were. So starting it out, please, if you have any comments, thoughts, or anything, share them in comments. We do have Sheree monitoring those, and she'll bring them up for me. So Parade was launching a product called Co-Driver. Co-Driver is a customer, and it's a customer-facing product for the most part. It's actually something that's monitored. I think it's broken out by kind of carrier or I'm sorry, truck finding, and allows you to kind of search your emails, or it's a generative AI tool that monitors emails and pulls information into Parade, allowing updates of statuses and offerings from carriers. So if a carrier offers on a particular lane or is looking for a load on a lane, it's going to update the Parade UI with various status updates and potentially change an offering status, or put in that offering as well, allowing more UI control throughout their platform. So I thought that was interesting. I definitely want to dive into it further, but I have reached out to Parade, but it'll be a few weeks till I'm able to follow up with everything on them. The next one is Conversite. Conversite is something I found extremely interesting. Conversite was a BI platform that's also created on generative AI platform. Now, I don't want to say that generative AI is going to be something I'm going to continue to use over and over and over, but it is a common term, and it's kind of everybody started out their conversation saying, I'm going to say AI X amount of times, I'm sorry. So AI is something that's addressed across the board. It's a new, it's not a new buzzword. It's been around a long time. It's something that I'm cautious with, but it is something that I'm looking for true business use cases around a generative AI tool that I think are interesting. And, I've been in think tanks around what can you actually use this for that makes sense. And BI is one of those topics that we have looked at, as well as email management. I mean, there's lots of email management that Parade is an example of that, as is a couple other upcoming things. So, but Conversite, I've talked with them already and hope to get a better look into their solution as well. It's a Twitter-like BI platform, Twitter-like feed, I should say. It allows you to basically you tie into the data set, is my understanding of it, and you're able to ask it questions like, what's my gross revenue? What's my top 10 customers? Et cetera, et cetera. You may even, I believe there's maybe a customer portal to it as well that, a customer could say, where's my load? That type of thing. And you can just ask it conversational type questions and it'll feed you back graphical type data or answer your questions. So very interesting. Curious to see what its scalability is like and what type of deployment it or what sort of effort it takes to deploy it. TAI had also TAI, TMS also had some email monitoring systems that pulls information into their UI. There's a quote response template, I think is what they called it, that allows confirmations back to customers. When you receive status updates from carriers, that you're able to link emails to the TMS and allow that to update an activity log. So that just, once again, email management was a large topic that was brought up a lot this year, and anything you can do to reduce your email and control your email. I mean, many of these carriers or many of the brokers and carriers are getting hundreds of emails a day for a variety of different reasons. So it's definitely something that we're looking to tackle for our customers, and any solutions that we can apply in mass is something that has interest for us. The next one is RLG, Resource Logistics Groups. They have a rating engine that I thought was somewhat interesting. It's primarily for LTL carriers. It was, I didn't get to see them load up the rating matrix and what that takes. I did see them run various scenarios. They claim, they're the fastest rating engine in the West, per se, but they did say it was very fast. And from what I saw, the scenarios that they were running, they would swap in, I think they were running 7,000 some odd lanes or scenarios, and they would continue swapping them in and out, or swapping different carriers in different regions or operating areas in and out. And it would recalculate that extremely fast. So I was definitely intrigued by what they have and the speed of it being able to recalculate scenarios based upon just the click of a few buttons. So I'm curious on how much the effort is for that. And I'm also curious, hey, what can you do for truckload carriers and that type of and brokers potentially for that type of solution. Finally, MTech Digital also had some very interesting solutions around email workflows. Also using generative AI, I just wanted to call them out. I did not get a lot of detail around their product, so I plan on following up with them. But their email workflows that I was seeing and how they functioned looked very interesting and fairly robust as well. So those products in general really kind of impressed me through the rapid fire demos. Uh, Something to look into, and I will be following up through either articles or the podcast as we move forward. Um, so through the driving forward podcast, we will, like I said, as we started, we'll be trying to evolve this podcast through bringing on guests that have interesting stories in transportation logistics. We've found that to be somewhat of a challenge. We've invited a number of guests on that have interesting stories, and we've been struggling to get them on primarily because they're not always leaders in organizations. So we invite you to reach out to us if you have that interesting story. So we once again, that's reach out to Sheree Moore. It's S Moore, MOORE at glcs.net. And she'd be happy to talk with you about getting on our show. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode of Driving Forward. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Please follow GLCS on LinkedIn and follow me on LinkedIn as well, Nate Johnson. I appreciate your time and have a great day.